my job is to banish hauntings, but my last one followed me home, and I live on the 5th floor. There's a perfectly round, wet trail glistening on my laptop screen. For 12 years, I've been the guy you call when your imagination gets the better of you, and not in a fun way. I don't deal with ghosts. I'm not even sure I believe in them. I deal with the things people create when they believe too hard in the wrong thing. Belief is a cancer. It starts small. A whisper, a dare, a story told around a fire. But if enough people feed it, if they water it with fear, it grows teeth. It finds a place to live. An old house, a dark stretch of road, a forgotten well. We call these places tethers. My job is to cut them. It used to be easier. The old world had names for its monsters. You knew the rules for a draugr, you knew what iron did to a fae. But now? The things we build are patchworks. Scraps of urban legends, half-remembered folklore, and a big dose of whatever slasher movie was popular last year. They're messy, unpredictable, harder to kill. The call came from my handler, Zora. Sounded like a milk run. An abandoned farmhouse a few miles out from the city limits. Squatters, probably kids, reported strange noises, shadows in the windows. Standard stuff. The kind of job you take when you need to make rent without losing a piece of your soul. The place was exactly what you'd picture. A long gravel road that fought my car's suspension the whole way, fields of dead corn on either side. The farmhouse itself was a skeleton, slumped against a gray sky. Behind it, a small lake, choked with algae, sat perfectly still. The kids had been here, all right. Beer cans and spray paint everywhere. On the peeling wood next to the front door, a crude drawing in red. A woman's face with hollowed-out eyes and a mouth that was just a long, spiraling line. Below it, in black marker, a challenge. Wake the keeper of the Stillwater. Shit. That's all it takes. A stupid name and a stupid dare. They'd probably been coming out here for months, scaring each other, telling stories. How she drowns you in your sleep. How she comes through the pipes. How the water in the lake never ripples, not even in a storm. Every version of the story, another thread in the knot. Another strand for the tether. It wouldn't be strong, not yet, but it would be there. The front door was swollen shut. I put my shoulder into it, and it gave way with a wet, tearing sound, like ripping moss off a stone. A few snails were stuck to the inside of the frame, their shells a pale, sickly gray in the dim light. I stepped over them, trying not to crush them. The air inside hit me first. It was cold, and it felt slick on my skin. It smelled of a cellar that hadn't been opened in 100 years. Damp earth, stone, and something else. Something sweet, like flowers left to rot in a vase. The walls were sweating. And the floor, shells. Thousands of them. They covered the warped floorboards, a brittle carpet of spirals. They crunched under my boots with every step, a sound like tiny bones breaking. I told myself they came from the lake. It didn't make sense. The lake was a good 50 yards downhill, but I made it make sense. It's what I do. I rationalize until I can't anymore. I did my sweep, room by room, cautious, listening, trying to feel for the hum of the tether. Nothing, just the goddamn smell and the crunching of the shells. The living room was different. The kids had cleared it out. The filthy carpet was rolled up in a corner. The couch was pushed against a wall. In the center of the bare floor sat a ceramic bowl, the kind your grandma might have had, with a faded floral pattern. It was full of murky water. A dozen snail shells floated on the surface, spinning in a slow, lazy circle, even though the air was dead still. Still no hum. No pressure in the air. Nothing. My gut, the one thing that has kept me alive for 12 years, was silent, so I did the bare minimum. A banisher's equivalent of a parking ticket. I whispered the binding words, just a formality. Poured a line of salt across every threshold, doors and windows. Before I left, I took a railroad spike from my bag and hammered it into the wood above the main door frame. Cold iron. Usually enough to spook these half-formed things. I was about to scrape the graffiti off the wall, but said fuck it. Too much work for a job that was barely a job. I pulled the warped door shut behind me, and that's when I heard it. A soft sound from inside. A wet rhythmic scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Like something heavy and wet being dragged across the floorboards. Dragged toward me. I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs. The world went silent except for the blood in my ears and that sound. I waited. 10 seconds. 30. A full minute. Nothing. The house was quiet again. Just the old wood settling, I told myself. Just the wind. I got in my car and drove away, and I didn't look back. I sent Zora a text. Weak tether, barely there. Recommend follow-up in a month. I got home, showered, ate some leftover pizza in front of the TV. A totally normal night. I put the farmhouse out of my mind. The silence in my gut was proof enough. The job was done. Then I went to brush my teeth. As I stepped into the hallway, I heard it again, from the bathroom. Scrape, scrape. This time, I felt it. The tether. It bloomed in the air around me like a fever, hot and suffocating. It smelled of the farmhouse, wet moss and rot and that sick, sweet smell. The hair on my arms stood straight up. The scraping stopped. My hand was shaking. In the little bowl by my front door where I drop my keys, I keep a few old iron nails, for emergencies. This felt like one. I grabbed one, the cold metal a pathetic comfort, and moved toward the bathroom door. I don't know what I expected. A shape in the dark, water on the floor. I just yanked the door open. The room was dark. My hand fumbled for the light switch. The light flickered on. The sink was dry. The room was empty. A wave of relief washed over me so strong my knees felt weak. I laughed. A stupid, shaky sound. I was losing my goddamn mind. And then I heard the squeak of the faucet handle turning. I watched, frozen, as the handle turned all on its own. Water started pouring into the basin. But it wasn't water. It was thick, brown sludge, the color of the lake bottom. It smelled like decay. And from the overflow drain, from the faucet itself, they came. Dozens of them. Snails. Sliding down into the rising filth, their pale bodies stark against the brown. The tether wasn't a hum anymore. It was a scream in my head. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just watched as the water rose. Then it began to swirl, a perfect tight vortex in the center of the sink. It spun faster and faster, pulling the sludge and the snails down with a final, choked gurgle. The sink was empty. It was over. But then, one by one, they crawled back up, out of the drain, slimy and twitching. They looked different now, darker. They moved to the rim of the sink and began to crawl in a slow, deliberate circle, round and round and round. I'm in my living room now. The bathroom door is shut. The iron nail is on the floor where I dropped it. The whole apartment smells like that farmhouse. That sweet, rotten smell is everywhere. I thought the tether felt off back at the house like it was missing an anchor. I was so fucking stupid. It wasn't missing an anchor. It was looking for a new one. I cut it from the house and it lashed onto me. I am the tether now. There was a snail on my welcome mat when I ran out of the bathroom. I live on the 5th floor. I just saw another one, its slimy trail making a perfect spiral on my living room window. I don't know what to do. This isn't in any book. We don't have a union. We don't have a support group. It's just us, alone, cleaning up the messes. But I fucked up. I broke a rule I didn't know existed. I brought the keeper of the Stillwater home. If anyone out there knows anything, please, help me. The scraping sound just started again. It's coming from inside my walls.